Hello everyone, it's me, your friend Mr. Ray, and welcome to my curious world. In this show, I would like to show you some amazing things that are all available for free on YouTube. Just hidden gems, either classics or maybe just even more modern things that haven't had as much attention as they deserve. But I'm so excited to show you a whole range of amazing things. Now, in between these amazing shows that I've found on YouTube for us to all enjoy together, I will be stringing this together, presenting and hosting the channel with a few things. Everything from quotes to poetry to interesting facts to even some of my own curious thoughts. And speaking of, I thought we'd maybe start the whole ball rolling with a curious thought. And I've been thinking an awful lot about comedy. The roots of comedy, the roots of even laughter, and it took me down a whole rabbit hole. And it seems that the very first laughter, it comes around the same kind of time as the start of human language, where it was almost like ape calls, screaming and shouting. This is why music has such a profound effect on us as humans. Pitch and tone, it was really the very first form of communication, screaming, in which pitch and tone has an emotional effect on us as human beings to this day. That's why we love music so much. But comedy is a little more subtle. When did laughter begin? Well, it seems that laughter started as a communication response as well, possibly from the very, very dawn of mankind. Since we began walking, human beings have been laughing, because it's quite possible that a human being standing up and falling over might have been what caused the very first laughter. The laughing at the misfortune of others seems to go back very, very far, and it could even potentially be the thing, because it's not the fall itself, it's the realization that something bad could have happened and hasn't, and it's okay. Laughter is a signal of relief. Anthropologically speaking, we laugh to show that everything is good and all right. And that's why I think so often grief and laughter, you find them hand in hand, or where you find hardship, you find humour. It's I think it's a very interesting thing. But moving further through that, to making each other laugh on purpose. When somebody fell over, it's very unlikely they did it intentionally to cause a laughter reaction. The release of endorphins, everything's okay. But later on in human evolution, we began trying to make each other laugh on purpose, which led me down another rabbit hole of the oldest jokes. Now, some of the oldest jokes are Phoenician, some are Babylonian. One of the very oldest jokes that I've managed to find was around 5,000 years old. Babylonian text, but they weren't sure about the original potential origin. It could have been much older, but it was believe it or not, one of the earliest jokes ever found was a "Yo Mama" joke. And when translated, unfortunately, it's rather dry, and it doesn't play quite the same way as I believe it would have to that audience. Now, the direct translations that I've found, they gave a really good indicator, though, to me, of what they were trying to get at, what they were trying to suggest. And this is my modern day reinterpretation of a 5,000-year-old Yamama joke. If that hideous creature is your mama, what kind of horrible freak is your father to have been able to get with that monstrosity? Yeah, the Babylonians were vicious. And what's more interesting is that much of the humour that they found from that time seems to be very much observational, or what we would consider now in modern times to be stand-up comedy. Like somebody would make observational humour jokes about what they were seeing around about them. It seemed to be a common thing, and that was like 3,000 years before Jesus walked the face of the earth. So it's just quite a incredible thing, the history of comedy. There was a great Phoenician joke as well, but it was famously incomplete. The old Phoenician joke. I might as well tell you it. I mean, it's a full form video now. We have time. So a Phoenician was speaking to a eunuch and asks him, "So, are you married?" And the eunuch responds, "No, sir, I am a eunuch. I'm not married." He goes, "Oh, do you have any children then?" He says, "No, sir, as I said, I am a eunuch. I have no wife and I have no children." He goes, "Oh, okay. What about grandchildren?" That's the fully completed version, but it's debatable as to whether that was the punchline. But I've gone through a few different variants, and of all of them, I think that's the one that probably A, makes the most sense, and B, is the funniest in context. So that's another one of the oldest jokes I was able to find. I hope you enjoyed those jokes. Now, talking about humour, I've got a double feature lined up for you by the British comedy great Sir Norman Wisdom. Now, this guy was introduced to me by my grandmother. I spent many a happy Sunday afternoon and summer holiday watching Norman Wisdom films on Channel 4 back in the 80s and early 90s with my grandmother, and she was a fan of his and she got me into him. And many people in the UK if you're watching this and you're a UK resident, you'll already know who Norman Wisdom is. But many of my American friends that are watching now, you might never have even heard of him, which you're in for a treat. If you enjoy the likes of Adam Sandler or those kinds of movies, Norman Wisdom was the UK's like original sad sap silly fellow, couldn't get anything right, but we'd still win in the end anyway. And he's just an amazingly funny guy. He lived a really long life, including a documentary after the double feature, which shows his final years. Sadly died less than a year after this documentary was made. He died in 2010, Sir Norman Wisdom. And he's still remembered by generations later. We're still remembering him, and this is my effort to try and make sure that his memory continues on. I hope that somebody sees this. And before I start it, I thought we'd end this segment with a quote from Sir Norman Wisdom himself. He said, "I don't know nothing about communism, but I know the Albanians loved me for the same reason that anybody loved me, because I made them laugh." I hope you enjoy the films that I've selected. The first film is like one of my personal favourites, and the second is like really the first film that was like a feature film starring the not yet Sir Norman Wisdom, but Norman Wisdom, a fantastically funny man, a great guy. Really hope you enjoy these films, and I hope you're looking forward to the next segment. Until next time, I'll see you soon.